Are you tired of all your hard work being thrown away or ignored? Maybe you should try an online survey. Online surveys are quick and effective and can give you a higher response rate than traditional survey methods. My name is Joseph Motley, and today I will be talking about how to create and distribute online surveys and how to gather the subsequent information. Surveys can help you form impressions of the concerns, preferences, attitudes, beliefs, or perceptions of a large identifiable group by studying representatives of that group. Online surveys are an inexpensive way to get viewpoints of a large group. This is an important tool to have in many different fields. Surveys can be used for feedback, research, and many other methods. Before creating your survey, you must determine the purpose, population, and goals. You will need to answer these questions. Why is the survey being performed? And what are we attempting to measure? You will also need to determine who your target population is and some of their general characteristics. Answering these questions will help you form your survey and survey questions. Before creating our questions, we need to understand our own biases. If your survey topic is controversial or could cause the participant to be uncomfortable, you need to make sure that your personal bias is not evident in your questions or motives. Including your biases can cause the survey to be unethical, unsuccessful, and unreliable. One way that biases are manifested in questions is through loaded questions. These questions will contain controversial or unjust assumptions. Here is an example. Why are you poor? This is a loaded question because it assumes that your participants are or believe that they are poor. A better question would be, what do you feel is the biggest factor in your economic status? Bias can also occur in your sampling methods if you do not ensure that your sample is large and diverse enough to represent the entire population. Creating questions is a very important part of this process and can affect the outcome of the survey in many different ways. Open-ended questions allow the participant to put their own thoughts into the survey and put no limits on their opinion, but often discourage the participant because they feel that the survey is too time-consuming. Multiple choice questions are another good option because you can quantify the data, but can possibly make the participant feel limited. Scales are helpful because you can see the range that people choose from, but can be inaccurate if the scale is not clearly defined. If you're looking for more qualitative information, you will use more open-ended questions. If you're looking for more quantitative information, you will use more multiple choice and scales. When writing your questions, you will need to avoid these three things: redundancy and repetition, ambiguous wording, sexist and biased language. Doing a test drive or having an expert review the survey is another important step. This can help you eliminate the things that I've previously mentioned. This can also help you ask the right question to gather the information that you are looking for. What may seem very simple to you can be very confusing to your participants. Doing a test drive can help you check for logistical errors like compatibility issues and can give you a general idea of how long the survey will take to complete. If the survey takes too long to complete, you risk losing many participants. Finding your sample is the final key aspect to creating your survey. You must determine the most effective way to gather your sample. Depending on the population you desire to study, you will decide if you will use probability or non-probability sampling. This will largely be determined by the amount of resources, time, and your knowledge about the population you are trying to reach. Probability sampling ensures that every person in the population has an equal chance of being chosen. Non-probability sampling is often much more convenient, but does not always give an accurate representation of the entire population. Once you have created your survey questions and you've gathered your sample, it's time to put the survey online. With the survey design, the next step is to get it online. There are a wealth of survey softwares on the web that can help make the process of distributing easier and get the responses you need from the people you want to target. For help on what software to use, picture above is a 2013 review of the top 10 survey programs. For this demonstration, SurveyMonkey will be used because it offers everything an average researcher will need while being free to use. Upon creating an account, simply click on the green Create Survey button in the top right of the screen to get started. Enter the title of your survey and select the category that best suits the type of survey you are conducting. Category types range from such topics as community to politics, or even just for fun. Researchers also have the option to use an expert survey template, which comes with pre-selected questions pertaining to whatever topic is chosen. Once you have selected your title and category, hit the Continue button at the bottom of the screen to start editing. On this screen, you can start editing how your survey is going to look, as well as input the questions you wish to ask your audience. To choose a theme color for the survey, simply select the color from the drop-down box menu under Edit Survey. By clicking on Survey Options, you can add a progress bar, require that some questions be answered, and select what language the survey will be presented in. On the Question Bank tab, there are pre-made questions that can be added to your survey. Add more pages by clicking on the Add Page button. Within the page boxes, you will find a button labeled Add Questions. Select this to begin inputting your questions. To create a question, start by typing it into the question text box. Then select the question type in the drop-down menu. Depending on the type of question you will be asking, you may be prompted with extra options. This first example is how to create a multiple choice question. If you wish to continue inputting questions, click Save and Add Next Question. This example is how you create a demographic information question. To preview your survey, simply click the Preview Survey button in the top right corner. Once you are ready to distribute your survey, click the Send Survey button. A web link to your survey will be created to you as seen below. There are many ways to send your survey. The emailing option allows you to create a list of recipients who will receive your web link. By selecting Buy a Target Audience, you can purchase a group of respondents that fit the criteria of your survey. You can also share your survey on Facebook. When gathering data for an online survey, it is very important to make sure that your sample size is appropriately matched to get a realistic result. When a sample size is too small, it creates a sample error and bias. Tracking the survey responses is very important. It decreases the amount of error in the results. When surveys are not completed, the survey needs to be taken out of the sample size for analysis. Incomplete surveys could cause variance in the results. When participants are taking the survey, their IP address is recorded to ensure that the person does not take the survey multiple times to influence the results. When analyzing the data as surveys are completed, it is important to see if the responders have a trend on selected answers. It is important to take the surveys that are incomplete and either remove them from being analyzed with the completed surveys, or to contact the person and ask if they can finish the survey so their data can be included in the results. When following up with incomplete surveys, it lets the person taking the survey know that their results are relevant to the survey that is being conducted. Surveys relating to humans have to obey Institutional Review Board regulations. The IRB ensures that participants' information is confidential to ensure their privacy. The conductor of the survey stores the data results in a server to ensure participants' privacy. The amount of samples affects the data results. The data results are from a target population or a random sample. When a target population is set, the survey is targeting a specific group of people as shown in the diagram. When using target populations, the researcher has to be careful not to have biased results. Often researchers run into the problem of selecting samples that will go in the favor of the researcher. When using a random sample, it is normally the best choice, but when using online surveys, it is difficult to disperse to different groups. Therefore, it is important to establish if there is going to be a target population or a sample selection. Online surveys are in two different categories: probability and non-probability surveys. When conducting online surveys, researchers use elements that randomize in selecting participants. They often put online surveys on websites to collect random results into a database, or they collect a random number of responses from a particular website that relates to the survey to eliminate bias. As survey respondents are completing the survey, the results are sent to a database where the data is stored. After all the data is collected, the results are then analyzed. Companies often back up their results to ensure that the raw data is still available for future analysis. Respond to all that participated in the survey by letting them know that the outcome of the survey is important. This allows for the participant to compare their choices alongside the sample size of the population. When conducting online surveys, the company conducting it has to make sure that multiple surveys are not taken from the same computer, since this could possibly skew results. Confidentiality is very important, for the company has to ensure that participants that their IP address is only going to be used to keep people from taking the survey multiple times, as an IP address can be used as an identification method. The company has to ensure the participants that their IP address will not be tracked back to them to identify them with the results that they provided on the survey. Confidentiality and integrity are very important to both the participant of the survey and the conductor. Now you know everything you need to know about creating and distributing surveys and gathering the information.